Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, December 26, 2022, after 3 p.m. Eastern. Hope everybody had a phenomenal Christmas time. Now we move into New Year. We will be having a Time for Change call this Wednesday night at 9 p.m. When we walk to the edge of all the light we have and take the step into the darkness of the unknown, we must believe that one of two things will happen. There will be something solid for us to stand on, or we will be taught to fly. Patrick Overton. A father once asked his daughter, after she graduated from high school, "Love, do you know what meditation is?" She looked at him with a smile and said, "Meditation is focusing on the great universal intelligence within you and all around you." He leaned closer and began to look into her eyes with a deep, long gaze. Slowly, moving even closer, his big, soft blue eyes were gazing deeply into hers. He said nothing, did nothing, but looked deeply into her eyes. For a moment, she began to retreat, feeling like stepping away or pushing back. Then she understood what he was doing. She took a breath, relaxed deeper into her heart, and felt a very calm, peaceful presence inside. This was her graduation day, and his full presence was her gift. Her father was teaching her how to open to each intimate moment, fully receptive to life, even in the uncomfortable moments, being available to feel this simple, soft, sweet presence for him. This is what meditation is all about. Excuse me. Don't ever mistake my silence for ignorance, my calmness for acceptance, and my kindness for weakness. Don't ever mistake my silence for ignorance, my calmness for acceptance, and my kindness for weakness. You may ask yourself, people ask themselves this every day, what is meditation for you? If you sit down to watch your mind, you'll see one main thing. The mind is always running. It is always running. It is always on, always moving about in the background. Its wheels are churning and whirling about its desires and past memories, future hopes, new ideas, old beliefs, trying to avoid doubts, etc. For 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, your mind is constantly working. Most interesting thing of all is that the mind thinks it's making progress. It gauges its progress by how much success it sees in the outer world. Perhaps your life situation is getting worse or better. The mind believes that the circumstances and experiences of the outer world measure your level of success. When we lose the right to be different, we lose the privilege to be free. Charles Evans Hughes. If we look deeply into the mind, we will see that even after it has attained all of its deepest desires and dreams in this life, it still continues to be this overproductive machine that does not know how to rest. The mind continues to constantly be busy, trying to reach its next goals or avoid some experience it does and it doesn't want to repeat. It's either imagining what it's going to do in the future or what just happened in the past. We are what we think. We are what we think. If you think you are bound, you are bound. If you think you are free, you are free. The mind only functions between two realms, the future and the past. The mind works with what is known or is potentially knowable. It's too afraid to discover what is really here in the present. It's worried that if it actually remained in this moment, it may feel lost, scared, or confused. The truth is that when the mind discovers the present moment, it taps into something that is truly amazing. We realize that there is so much more to this life than what the outer world has to offer. The realization of how to remain free from the past and future thoughts is the most shocking discovery that might cause some embarrassment for the ego. So the mind tends to return to what it knows. It sticks to what is comfortable. It remains in the habit of thinking about the future and past. Enlightenment can happen at any moment. We can stop being a slave to the mind and live fully in the now, unafraid of the future or the past. We can become aware of the addict within us that is climbing around like a monkey on this tree of addictions. And the tree of addictions is quite interesting. You picture a tree. You picture a large root, one large root, and several small beneath the surface in the ground. And different branches have different meanings. Activity addictions. Buying, spending, gambling, crime, hobbies, exercise, work. Thought addictions. Obsessional thinking, perfectionism, rigid thinking, worrying, repetition, fantasy. Then we branch off onto another. Substance addiction, alcohol, drugs, glue, nicotine, caffeine, food. And then on right and left, we have anger, rage, hate, guilt, jealousy, fear, envy, grief. These are feeling addictions. And then people addictions, relationships, love, sex. Sex. We've got love, sex, and sex. Codependency, groups, power, violence. The underlying damage of shame, wounding, and division within the individual. This is the main root of the tree. The truth is that we are highly conscious beings already. And we wouldn't be literally listening to this if we weren't. No one would be here if we weren't. We probably wouldn't have even signed up for anything. If there wasn't already some seed of higher awareness growing within us. Of course, many people in this world are completely hypnotized by their minds and caught in a perpetual thinking trance. It's the norm to follow the mind. Wherever the mind goes, you follow it all day and all night long. I have faith you have entertained the possibility that you can become free from the mind's grasp. As we become more conscious and aware of the mind, we are less likely to fall back and become lost in its relentless sea of desires. What's interesting for me is that there is something always inside the mind that is always awake. No matter how many times you get lost in thoughts, the awareness is still there, still watching everything in the background. The awareness is unattached, observing it all, and perceiving it all without the slightest judgment. And it's a simple command of oneself: be still. Be still. Anytime you choose, get very curious about this light of awareness that never turns off. Bring all your awareness to this awareness. Remain patient, relax, and at ease in this exploration. This is how to instantly tap into an enlightening experience of this life. Let yourself simply be aware of that which is never not aware. This will open the door to instant enlightenment. Believe it or not, the more we practice this simple technique, the more we will realize the magnitude of this. Are we ready to dive in and explore what it may be like? The real adventure is not outside of us. It is found within. George Eliot. I dare you to not pay any attention to the mind for one day of your life. Just ignore it. Let ignoring your thoughts be your practice. Be aware of awareness. And don't push away thoughts. Just ignore them. They are not they're not as brilliant and bright as your spiritual essence. Surrender every part of your being to this experience, if and when you wish to become enlightened. The sun does not seek the source of light in time nor space. It simply knows itself as source and rejoices in the light. Be the source. Jeff Foster. The mind is used to being in control, so it's not going to like your practice at all. It is used to being in charge, and its also important thoughts should have priority. So our minds will reject this practice, which we will see within the first few minutes. It does not want us to be free from its grasp. It has created the idea that the problem we need to conquer is out there in this world, not inside of us. Thinking creates less consciousness. Being creates more consciousness. Thinking creates less consciousness. Being creates more consciousness. If we want to have a more enlightening experience of our lives, simply slow down and practice letting go of thinking. Stop and drop the mind each time it arises. Just let it go. It is a very challenging practice, especially since our entire lives we have only followed the lead of the mind. To be very patient and very gentle with yourselves. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. Joyce Meyer. That's a good statement. Patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. Perhaps we've already started to see that a busy mind is a very dangerous thing. Like a pendulum, our thoughts will keep swinging between happy and sad, joyful and miserable, peaceful and upset. This is where it goes, and all it knows. It is afraid to step into the unknowable and experience what's beyond its comfort zone, where we just might experience that everything and everyone is completely perfect, exactly as is. Now, where the magic happens is within us. That's where the magic happens, within. And our comfort zone is a circle outside of us, totally away from within where the magic happens. When we bring awareness to the fact that we've been a slave to this thinking machine, life begins to change. Suddenly, we become more obsessed with the present moment. This is such an amazing discovery. Surrendering our minds to the present moment is our golden gateway to enlightenment. Although the mind will never be satisfied with anything, as it always desires life to be different. We can train our minds to prioritize freedom. Be aware of our slavery. Know that freedom is not something that can be attained. It is our very nature. It's something that we already are and can only be experienced when we fully surrendered to this moment. The very moment we surrender our lives to being free from the mind, everything becomes crystal clear again. We step into the original mind we had when we were a child, which was full of wonder, innocence, and awe. Then the mind naturally stops trying to survive the battle or win the rat race. Then we begin the real evolution of consciousness and truly awaken the divine being hidden inside. The greatest bliss is available to us by simply following the natural rhythm from within our souls. This is a very highly awakened and blissful state that manifests itself by simply choosing freedom. The mind, choosing freedom, the mind as our goal. Give yourself the gift of liberation today and dive into the unknown. The foolish man seeks happiness in the distance. The wise grows it under his feet. James Oppenheim. Just for this week, I invite you to open yourselves up to experiencing something totally new, exciting and mysterious. Who knows when death will come? This may be our last week of life, so live at large. It is truly up to us. If we let ourselves open up to experiencing something completely new, we will be surprised how easy it is to find that spiritual source of love inside us again. Freedom begins with meeting with that part who remains complacent with our inner stuckness. It's that same part who keeps saying that it doesn't know how to improve our financial situation, your health, energy, or relationships. This is our day to listen to a new voice, our inner voice, that is free from the mind. It's the real guide that doesn't have preference about what we manifest or achieve. It's our choice right now to listen to our higher selves and discover a new version of reality. How simple is it when we know that being is the peace? Being is the peace. Being is the freedom. Being is outside the mind. I believe a lot of people, they look at the brain as the mind. That's what they correlate. They connect that. Well, the brain is my mind. The brain and the mind. No, it's totally off base. The mind is an illusion, and the mind has created the ego, also an illusion, to assist it, kind of like its helper. Once we understand that, and we know by being in the now is just being and focusing on the breath, the mind's not there. You choose to leave the mind alone. And when you leave the mind alone, that's where our true freedom is. And it really is about mastering. You see, many on this planet don't know that they're the masters of the ego mind, of the subconscious mind. But when you're in that little circle outside of the big circle, which is that which is within you, and the little circle outside the big circle is outside, which is our comfort zone. Isn't it amazing? We're grand creators, so everything we create comfort zone. And the comfort zone is outside of the God within, the spirituality. Comfort zone feels real good, though. Year after year after year after year after year after year, we have this comfort zone. And as you notice, as these bodies age, right, we become more stuck in our comfort zone. Any of you that know, you reach 70, 80, 90, maybe 100, 105, 110, 120, 125. You realize that you're more stuck in that comfort zone than 50 years ago. But doesn't it get real comfortable? One of the strangest things is that, you get situated. You might be in a neighborhood, apartment complex, wherever it may be. You might be there for years. And you become more and more attached to that energy, that the place where you live, where you go, the stores down the street, the people, everything. You get attached to it all. And then we look at that as home, right? We look at that as that's home. And then the universe comes in, and it shakes everything up. In fact, it shakes you out of your comfort zone, because then all of a sudden you find yourself having to move, right? And none of us really enjoy moving because we're all in those comfort zones. So we move, and then everything is new. Everything is different. And we're not in balance with ourselves because that comfort zone has been eliminated. So what do? We begin to create a new comfort zone immediately in the new surroundings. Now, if you were to move a lot, several times, and short stints, right, you would begin to realize and appreciate that the God within you is home. Nothing in the material physical world is home. It's all temporary. That which is forever is the God within the body that we are, that lives forever, never dies. You see the difference? And if you ever experience having to move a lot, and set up again, and then move, and set up again, and then move, and then store, and then move, and set up again, and then move, and then set up again, and then move, you begin to take on a different perspective. And then you say, this is good. It's a good thing. And you begin to say, I know more and more that my home is within me. Wherever I am, I'm home. The greatest bliss is available to all of us by simply following the natural rhythm from within our souls. This highly awakened and blissful state manifests itself by simply choosing freedom, the mind, as our goal, giving ourselves the gift of liberation today and diving into the unknown. How many of us do you believe are bright-eyed, bushy-tailed into the unknown? How many do you think? And in the unknown, we learned that all the possibilities and opportunities are in the unknown. You don't know. See, you don't know. And when you're in the process of making a decision to do something, and for some reason you don't feel comfortable with it. Have you ever been there with that? You don't feel comfortable with it. You're kind of iffy and wishy-washy, and you're not sure, and I don't know. Is this the right thing? I don't know. What if it doesn't? Blah, 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 blah. See, when you're in that ego, mind, emotion state, you go for it. You go for it. It's or you stay in that stuck position, and you'll stay in that stuck position till something comes along and really shakes everything up. Then you have no choice, do you? There's a lot of people that one day, they go to bed, they wake up, right? Everything's fine. Job, little extra money. Everything seems to be balanced. Some happiness in there. And then they go to bed the next night, wake up the next morning, and it's all changed. It's all gone. In reality, our reality, the gods that we are, we really are standing in the middle of nowhere in our birthday suits, having nothing but the God we are within that body. That's a visualization, but it's very true. And then we determine with the God that we are within the body what our next step's going to be. And it's really interesting how some of us on this planet, we manifest things that we don't identify with, we don't understand. We think it's a force that's outside of us that presents this to us, right? I was watching a video series on live stream where this group of young guys in a van drive around asking people what their dream is. And just about everybody had the answer pretty quickly. And it was very interesting to see what happened with each of them. So these folks would go around and ask, what's your dream? They would tell them, and the dream would manifest. But the interesting thing is that the one that told them what their dream is the one that actually manifested it. These young guys came in, we're going to give you $30,000. It's going to help you with a new house. We're going to do a fundraiser. It's going to bring more money in. Those people that came to those people with the dream, the people with the dream manifested that. That's what really took place. Some of them kind of got it, a little bit. And it was a catalyst. The universe brings it in. And you never know where it's going to come from. Through other people, situations, being somewhere at the right place at the right time. You ever done that? It's all due to us. We are the master manifestors of our lives. Sure, the universe brings in other people to facilitate the dream into reality. But you are the one with the power that manifests it all into being. This isn't about giving other people credit or yourself credit or anything. That's ego mind. This is what we do. And we do it every moment that we're in these bodies. We do it all the time, 24/7. It never ends. So it helps. It assists. When you come to the full, clear understanding that the God within you, that you manifest and materialize everything in your life. People say, well, what about all this? What about these things that just out of the clear blue come in? You manifested those, but you manifested those subconsciously. For what? Entertainment. When you're in the body temporarily, what do? Who's creating all this? And humanity is moving towards that comprehension. Who's creating all of this? Who's doing all this? How is this happening? People ask themselves that. How is this actually happening? Curiosity is a great thing. If it is to be, it is up to me. I am that I am. And not. You see how you progress. You slowly but surely understand how to stay in the now, moment to moment. You get to the point where that's all you care to be is in the now. At first, no. At first, it's a tug of war with the ego mind. That's understood. But as time progresses, and as we focus more, the moment, the now, we're able to leave the mind alone and the ego. And we watch them, and they teach us, and the role transforms. You are no longer the slave to your ego mind. The ego mind becomes the slave to you. It's a great servant, and it's a horrible master. Once this gets front and center, you will stop worrying, fearing, stressing. All of it will end. Don't you? Now that is one heck of a motivator, isn't it? And it's all there. For every one of us, it's all there. It's not something you have to go digging and find. It already is there within you. And you know what happens? You'll find that you'll become clear that you're the manifester, and that your manifesting will become much more fluid. You won't be outside of yourself. You'll understand that you had something to do with creating all that out there as entertainment. In eventuality, we end up watching as we go through this life. We watch everything. We watch the ego, the mind. We watch all of it. We don't judge it, condemn it. We watch it. We learn. We experience. And as time goes by, we understand it. It's like you say, I want this. So you move into the now, focus on the breath, just be, and then you say to the universe, one thing, I want this. And then, you go through what it is in clarity and detail. This is what you want. You have no expectations and no attachments. You have great patience because you know, with great faith, great confidence, and great trust in yourself and the universe, that it'll come. See, the patience, or lack thereof, is due to the ego mind. The ego mind wants to it wants you to get anxious, in a hurry, stress, worry. Is this going to happen at the right time? Is this, that all those things come in, and then that derails your request to the universe to deliver whatever it was you wanted. It is a true understanding that all of us deserve the best of everything. Bar none. All of us deserve the best of everything. Somewhere along the way, in this life, and many others, we've been tricked into believing that we aren't deserving. Have you ever felt that way? It could be anything. Not that you discuss it with anybody. It's a feeling within that you have. That you feel guilty, embarrassed for receiving something. Right? Or have you ever come across people that just cannot graciously embrace a compliment? Have you ever heard that? Could be you. And why is that? They feel very distraught and combative because how they view themselves is in an ugly direction. So they don't believe that they're deserving. So they push it away, or they make a snide remark when you compliment them. You ever done that? All you're doing is, hey, Harry, all I'm doing is complimenting you. Take it easy here, buddy. So it's how we're conditioned in this life. But once you understand, you surrender, you forgive, you surrender your heavy baggage that you don't need. We don't need that baggage. We don't need it. We carry it. It sounds kind of funny, but it's another comfort zone. We let it go, just surrender it. We forgive ourselves for whatever we feel guilty about ourselves about. We forgive ourselves. And we surrender to the God that we are within the body. When we do that, there's this massive pressure that's released. And we begin to realize how wonderful the gods we are in the body. And then we start learning to love ourselves again. You've been in a situation where you get an opportunity to have something that you just only dreamed of, right? But you feel guilty that you want it. You ever had that experience? It's not like you need it, and then you rationalize to yourself, well, I really don't need it, but boy, I've always dreamed of having it. Oh, I wonder if I should get it, right? You have that. And it's on your mind. Could be for 2, 3, 4 weeks, however long. And then you visit it again. Okay. And you say, oh, I don't know. But you understand, it's the ego mind wanting. So you go ahead and you do it. You don't really feel comfortable about it, right? And you're worrying, stressing, and fearing the whole time you are getting it. Because, and why is that feeling there? I'll tell you why. It's because the majority of us don't believe we deserve it. That's that uneasy feeling we get. And in situations, we go ahead and do that, and it becomes one of the most phenomenal decisions we've ever made. And the energies from whatever it is that you brought in are ongoing. And you ever said this to yourself? This was the best decision I've ever made in my life. It could be a material thing, okay? Someone says, wow, that's really nice. Well, where'd you get that? Oh, this, yeah. Well, I wasn't comfortable, but I went ahead and I did this, and I got this. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. It changed my life for the better. And the interesting thing is that you changed your life for the better. Not that which you were seeking outside of yourself, but yet it represented many things. This discovery is across the board for all of us. This is the turning point, if you will, for this civilization, is to really understand oneself without judgment and to embrace the spirituality of the gods that we are in these bodies, and to also be able to differentiate that you are the God, period, and you're not the body. The body will cease. The God is forever and never dies. To make that distinction is huge for the civilization. And not superficially, not through the ego mind, but through the heart mind, that we discover this with ourselves. And then we stay with the gods that we are, and we have the clarity of that is massive, because it triggers and shifts our true power, and then we manifest at a blink of the eye, and we know. It isn't a guess. It isn't a challenge. We know. And the fun part about it is that we don't know when. Say, it's always a surprise. We don't know when. Now, little short things, yeah, you begin to realize you can manifest something, and it shows up, and you sometimes you'll say, "Goodness, I was just thinking about that," and there it is, because you manifested it. You didn't have any expectations or anything. You were just sitting there saying, "Wow, wouldn't it be great if blah 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 blah," and the next thing you know, it shows up, and you say to yourself, "We were just talking about that, and then there it is." And many of us think that, it's random and those things happen, but instead of saying through the heart mind, is that I can manifest anything I choose to manifest. Now, sometimes the universe, it doesn't come, we've all been through this. It doesn't come, doesn't this and that, this and that. And then we just kind of let it go, right? Move forward. You see, the universe has something better in mind. And the timing is crucial. It's always about the timing. It's never not about the timing. We know that. We've all experienced that. If things aren't in play and balance, then that energy doesn't move in. But when things are in play and balanced, then it happens. And the timing, and let's just say the timing of the release of massive wealth to the people of planet Earth, it's the timing. Do you know why? Because of all of us. It's what we're thinking is the tremendously powerful impact that we have on everything. It's what we're thinking. Guys, it's what we're thinking. Do we correlate that often? No, not really. Because we're in that habit of relying on external authority to have things to happen for us, right? Then we come to the full conclusion and understanding that, no, we're the ones who determine when, by how we introduce it to the universe. That's it. And thinking it's like that's a done deal. Whatever you focus on, whatever, say, the tricky part is that we have this tendency to say, that we don't want certain things to happen, right? We've all done it. I hear people over and over again say they don't want this and they don't want that and they don't want this and they don't want that. And the funny thing is they get it. The universe delivers it. But when they get themselves in the habit of the heart mind saying, I don't care to have this take place, I don't care to have that take place, I really don't care to have that happen. And it won't. It's all vibrational frequency. And it is how we acknowledge this. It's how we embrace it. I don't believe any of us in our core care to live a life that's full of stress, worry, and fear. I just, we've done that more than once. And we don't forget it. And sometimes we will manifest things that will create it. And our decision to go within and stay within in the now, then none of that happens. It happens when we are in the material physical world, in the ego mind. All the wonderful things that have happened with this planet and the people, and all the wonderful things to come are due to us collectively wanting that. That's it. It's like, okay, we've had this roller coaster of lives many, many times. We really don't care anymore to have that kind of life. We want a blissful, happy, joyous, emblazoned with manifesting life. That's why everything that is transpiring on this planet, that's why it is. More and more people are starting to wake up to the fact to say, wait a minute. I am the one who is the master, not my ego mind. I am the one that's manifested everything in this very moment, to this date. You focus on an unhappy life, you will have an unhappy life. You focus on a happy life, you will have a happy life. You focus on anger, hate, you will have a life of anger, hate. It's that simple. If you focus on, and this is in the heart mind, not the head, you focus through the heart mind of being in the now on how you want your life to be, it will be. There's no arguing it. It will be. Now, if you decide to go the other way, after you have requested the life that you want to live, and you go the other way, it will be that way as well. Frustrating, stressful. Some happiness and joy in there. Worry is always there, right? You could literally walking around, interacting with people and everything, but you're aware, see? The awareness is huge. You say to yourself, I got to be careful here because I really don't care to fall into the trap of what? Focusing on what you don't want. Because we all get trapped with that. And when a lot of the times we don't even know it. This is the root of the current status of this planet. It's the root. When you don't focus on something, it won't manifest. It never has. Is it a guilt trip for all of us to say, "Oh well, why would I do that?" Well, it's not complicated. You say, "Well, it's because the ego mind has mastered me, and I wasn't aware of that, and that's okay." There's where you're gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself, and in deep gratitude. I'm in deep gratitude for the understanding is that the ego mind has taught me a whole heck of a lot. It's taught me phenomenal things on how not to be, which allows me to focus on how I desire to be, how I want my life to be. See, because everybody on this planet has been taught through thousands of years. That's just the way life is. You live it. You earn the right to live. It's just crazy. It's crazy stuff. And it becomes more and more crazy as you begin to shift yourself into the opposite direction. Now, you already know. You've known for a very long time that, okay, so ego mind, all right, fine, I understand that, and I'm very grateful that it's been there to teach me. But then you get to the point where you know to move out of the ego mind into the now through the breath, moment to moment. And you know that anything that you desire, you will have. It's just a certain way to do it. And it's always through the heart-mind. And it's not like, okay, it's not like we're leaving the physical material world, right? Because we aren't of it anyway. It's there. We create it for entertainment. So we use it at times, but we focus on the now, and we're able to understand and comprehend the fact of our awareness is that wherever I'm going to be focusing my omnipotently powerful being, who and what I am, it's going to be created. Now, that might unravel some people, go, holy cow, how do you know how to know, and blah, blah, blah. You start falling back into the head. But doesn't it make sense for all of us? We're all gods in the body, supreme, omnipotently powerful beings that never die. Why would we need anything outside of ourselves? We wouldn't, would we? We wouldn't. We would have the innate confidence, trust, and faith all along the way. Not arrogance, not ego mind, but heart-minded understanding. So, you got when you focus is when whatever it is, you're cognizant to that. You're cognizant that your energy is forming whatever it is you're focused on. That's why people have to be very careful when they wish bad on another, when they get angry with them and they wish bad on them, no matter what the circumstances, right? Whatever you focus on, you create. And the interesting thing is that it will come back to you. And this is a proven fact that you wish negativity around you on anything, it is going to come back and affect you.
We deserve the best of everything. And to embrace that without a fight, right? Without pushing it back. Oh, no. I can't accept that. I can't accept that. I really appreciate it, but it's just too much. I can't accept this. That's just silly stuff, ego mind stuff. Because I kid you not, this progression is in high gear, and there's no turning back. There's no withdrawal. It is in high gear, and it is going to continue to ascend, elevate, levitate, transcend, transform, progress. And why is this? It is because of all of us, the gods within these bodies, collectively, as one. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Remain still. This world is our mirror. Our response in relation to every being on this planet reflects our inner consciousness. This mirror is always present, always reflecting what we most need to know, allowing us to observe, learn, and grow on our soul's path to angelic development. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, into the following morning. And we will return here Tuesday, December 27th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be good to yourselves.